This is your daily briefing and you are most welcome to it. Let's start with that Kane quote, shall we? It was incredible to see the reception from some of the Spurs fans on Sunday and to read some of the message of support I've had over the last few weeks. I will be staying at Tottenham this summer and will be 100% focused on helping the team achieve success. So how do I feel about that? Well, my heart is filled with inertia. I feel as if the missus has come to me and said, listen, I love you with all my heart, but on Christmas Day I'm moving out and I'm taking the dog with me. That's how I feel. I feel that there is a light at the end of the tunnel here and it's the front of an oncoming train. Only at Tottenham can failing to sell your best player be seen or be perceived as a success. Twitter is a curious thing. It only represents 20% of the planet. And yet the shift in the extremist reaction to this news has been remarkable. A week ago, the bile for Kane consisted of him being overrated, chocolate-ankled, and a mouth breather that fluffed every final he got near. And now, everybody's reborn, and he's one of our own again. Children are singing in the street. Tottenham will undoubtedly sell Kane if and when the market suits them. But the shadow of his seasonal injury problem stalks everything. And there will be some accusing him of pulling his game, as Eriksen did, so he couldn't be injured when he was up for being sold. And there will be others who won't be happy unless he does roll an ankle. For me, this whimpering conclusion to the saga doesn't have a clear winner. And that's the real problem. If Tottenham are to come out of the deal ahead, it isn't just about retaining Harry Kane's services. It's about having made a twist, a pivot in the business in order to increase the chance of success and not just survival. Clinging on to this status quo for some more months isn't winning. On the face of things, Spurs are now 6 points in the bag, living the clean sheet dream, and now the talisman has returned. So I'm going to mention to you again, because I know some of you didn't like me mentioning it yesterday, because of the reaction to Harry Kane being involved in that awkward sort of stooge thing where he stood there while everybody else is laughing and smiling. They're handing Hugo Lloris his 300 appearances jersey. But are we going to be left with the Harry Kane that was in the All or Nothing documentary? That authoritative figure, the one that wasn't afraid to speak out, the one that was pointing the finger at people who weren't lifting their boots, the one that was trying to lead from the front and carry the team forward. The real problem, and there's a good piece that I would recommend to you in the Mail Online this morning from Joe Bernstein, and he suggests that Harry Kane is the biggest loser in the collapse of this Spurs exit because he lacked the inherent nastiness to force the deal through. Gary Neville, and the lack of a super agent didn't help. But even Daniel Levy and Manchester City, they're all losers too in this deal. The biggest loser is Kane himself, and now the world's most famous trophyless footballer looks forward to more months of the Europa Conference League. And was that really the dream that he had as a kid in Walthamstow? I feel that Tottenham could have well done with the money in order to reinvest. I feel that Harry Kane, like every professional athlete, needs to have motivation levels up here. And I don't think the carrot, and that, you have the stick and the carrot, I don't think the carrot in this equation of not being booed at, not being hated by losers online, I don't think that's enough. And at his age, this is a horrible outcome. This is a truly horrible outcome. This hasn't stopped the crazy people from getting involved. The Times, The Sun, just about everybody. Jason Burt, The Telegraph, they're all talking about Harry Kane wanting hundreds of thousands of more pounds every week. And Bert has really dropped the ball here. Other people, making comments about, he's going to want 300,000, he's going to want 400,000. They're all pulling numbers out of thin air, but Bert's really dropped the ball here. Jason for the Telegraph, striker has demanded a release clause. Levy doesn't do them. If he does one this time round, it will be the first time ever. And I wonder how many more times we're going to have to mention that in relation to this club and this chairman before the penny drops. There's some stuff going on around, about Adama Traore. The only thing I would suggest that you keep an eye on here is people keep on mentioning Mendes in relation to Traore. Mendes is also the agent for Ronaldo. And don't forget, Spurs don't have any money. So when you look at me and you say, he's always miserable. No, I'm always realistic. And the point is, if you want some of these crazy fantasy rumours that you keep on seeing in the paper and sharing with your friends, your moronic friends, who think, thanks for sending that to me, mate. It's never going to happen. None of it, 90% of them, never going to happen. But you're in there sharing, you're engaging, aren't you? If you want any of these things to come true, you're going to need to finance them. And Spurs' first resort is going to be to shout, we don't have any money. This is the same guy who went over the build cost for the stadium by 200% or whatever it was, and blamed Brexit even before we left the European Union. If we need money, then we're going to need to sell people. And if we're not selling Kane, then forget about it. Paratici's out of a job as of midnight last night. But back to the Traore thing, Ronaldo is handled by Mendes. And is it beyond the wit of man that the same stupidity when it comes to handing out effectively lumps of free money that Gareth Bale received, could that deal not be offered at Ronaldo? I'm not suggesting for a moment that he wants to play in the third tier of European football, but he might be interested in a kind of low-key, get-rich-quick sort of pre-pension deal. Just a thought. So there we go. There's nothing of any substance come out in the shadow of all this, and as you can tell, I just think it's a losers convention. I don't see a single winner in anything. Spurs will get the best they can out of him up until Christmas, and then everything's going to collapse again in January. Good luck. Keep it Tottenham.